So I wanted to talk about the subconscious mind, which is, some people want to, I use the word God. You know, it's a God, God gave you your brain, and we have a subconscious mind. And it's been proven over and over again that everything that we've ever seen or done in our lives has been stored in our subconscious mind. So in saying that, it's, first of all, you got to ask yourself, is it okay to ask your subconscious mind to release any limiting decisions? Like, I'm going to be overweight forever. I'm never going to be able to stop binge eating. I just can't give up cheesecake. You know, whatever it is, we're just talking about food. But you can essentially do it with any limiting decision. Like, I'm always just going to be this way. I'm always going to be a size 20. And no one's asking you to be what you were in high school. No one's asking you to be a size 0. As a matter of fact, I always just say, you know, what was your favorite dress that you'd like to get back into in your middle-age time? What is your favorite pair of jeans that you still have in your closet because you love them and you wish you would be able to fit into them? And so a lot of times when we have things that we've just decided that I'm always going to be this way, I've tried everything, so nothing's going to work. So the first question is, are you ready to let go of that limiting belief? So if you are, there's a thing called a time technique. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is close your eyes, and I'm going to ask you to tell me which way your timeline, so everybody's got a timeline, and it can go in any direction. So if you close your eyes, you'll find where your timeline is. So when I close my eyes, my timeline goes directly in front of me, all the way straight through to directly behind me. And so that's what I'd like you to do right now, is just close your eyes and find where your timeline is. It could be going this way, it could be going that way. And if you just ask yourself, if you give yourself permission to let go of that limiting belief and find your timeline. So when you close your eyes, find your timeline and point in the direction that the timeline is going. And so what happens is you can find exactly what the root of the problem is and eliminate it. And it's very simple, because once you recognize what the root is, you can actually lift yourself completely away from that moment and actually look at it as it actually happened to somebody else, or recognize it, and once you recognize it, you're released from it. And it's a very easy technique. It's my favorite technique. And so I'm going to teach you that today because it's the most effective one. You can do it on your own. So I'm giving away one of my major, absolutely favorite secrets of helping people eliminating emotional binging, eating, shopping, anything that people want to binge on. So just go ahead and get in touch with your timeline now. So I want you to close your eyes, float above your timeline, and turn and face that past. And go ahead and float back into the past right now, down into position C, right into the event. So position C is right into the event. Now notice that the limiting decision that occurred there, and notice any emotions too, and just nod when you've done that. So when you found it, just give a nod. Now go ahead and float back into position B, turning to face the future. So you're looking on your timeline facing the future. So you're going, before the beginning of that event and any of the chain of events that led up to it, ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from this event. This will allow it to let it go. you'll be letting go of that limiting decision and let go of any negative emotions around it. Just easily and effortlessly ask yourself, now where is that old decision? Is it there, or is it just gone now? Now float right down into the event, into position C, where the event happened. So you're looking through your own eyes. Now check out on the decision. Is it there, or is it just gone now? Okay, good. Now go back to position B, looking towards your future. Now come back to now over your timeline only as quickly as you can stop at 3 events along your timeline where, had you never made the limiting decision, you would have had so much more opportunity. Stop and notice these 3 events and watch as they reevaluate themselves in light of these new choices and opportunities. Stop at each in position B and preserve the learnings and let go of the decision and any negative emotions all the way back to now. Now remember, at the unconscious level, time is experienced differently. So your unconscious can take as little time as it wants. Just let go of that old decision all the way back to now. And when you get back to now, go ahead and float down into now and come back into the room. Now, how do you feel about that old decision or belief? Now I want to future pace. Go close your eyes again, go out to a time in the future, which if it would have happened in the past, this old decision you used to have would have affected you. Notice how it's different now, and notice how many more choices and how much more opportunity you have. Good. Just come back to now. And it has officially been eliminated. When you find the root, and everything in every room, everywhere you've ever been, is stored in the subconscious mind. So wherever it took you, I'm going to give you an example. I had somebody that could only drive her own car, was nervous while she was doing it, and slowly but surely was beginning not to be able to drive, especially after 2020, because she was in lockdown due to a pre-existing condition for a long time. So she was beginning to not drive. It used to be she wouldn't let anyone else drive her anywhere at any time, not a cab, not an Uber, nobody else could be driving a car. And so I did this technique with her. She found the place on the timeline. It doesn't even need to be spoken out loud. And she went into that place and she went back into now, and then she future paced how her life would be different in her mind with events going forward into the future. And she started driving her car confidently, and this is in the greater Los Angeles area. And now people drive her everywhere. Doesn't matter if they drive, if she drives. And she completely decided, before we did the time technique, to open her mind up to let go of that limiting belief that no one else could ever drive her. And she was about to literally unable to drive, like she was not going to drive again. And so she was able to drive we were able to do this, and she drove home confidently. She started driving to work and commuting regularly, and then she let friends take her places, go places, Palm Desert. She's willing to let anyone drive her anywhere. And that limiting belief that no one else could drive her around, which was leading to her not driving at all, was completely eliminated with this technique. So I hope you enjoyed doing that, and you can repeat this at any time for any emotional limiting belief.